Hey, good Monday morning, everyone. Mitchell back here on my MI Sports Talk YouTube channel. This is going to be a different comparison game today. The game will be where I compare the CBS Sports bracket for today and then the ESPN tournament projection too. They are all going to be predicted this morning and at this hour. So without any further ado, the CBS Sports bracket will be up to you right now. So since I'll cover this one up, let's start out here for the first four here. We have NC State and Rutgers. In the South region, we also have Wichita State and Richmond. And then the Midwest, we'd have Norfolk State and St. Francis, Pennsylvania for the 16. And then the other 16 game, which I think Siena will win. And they would play Prairie View A&M. So we got Baylor and South Dakota State Jackrabbits. They've been in the tournament quite a bit, but I don't think a 16th seed will happen this year. Sorry, folks. So we will take Baylor there. And then I also have LSU, even without Tremont Waters, pulling it out against St. Mary's. But hint that I do have LSU going further this round, and I am gonna have them upset Baylor here. So, and Iowa, I think they're falling on their horizon. Luka Garza's not playing as well, and Jordan Bohannon's just not with it anymore. He's been injured for a while, so I will take an upset. Wichita State is bubbling their way in the tournament, and I think they're gonna beat them. And then that has a rematch of Kentucky and Wichita State for the year of 2014 when they battled Wichita State as an undefeated team. And at first I wanted Kentucky to win, but that was the year the Aaron Harrison thing happened too. It actually started when they beat Wichita State. So how crazy is that? But I do not have Wichita State pulling it out. I do have the Wichita State pulling it out this time. So they will be heading to the Sweet 16 and pull out a huge upset, one of the biggest upsets in the tournament. I truly think they'll have it all. But this is kind of a mock bracket because my ESPN will be more legit. But this is just to have some fun before that one starts. So. And then Butler, I think, will be NC State and Rutgers has been falling down recently. And then NC State too, they've kind of been south. So I think Butler will get it done there. And then I also think they will upset Louisville actually. So that's gonna be a very interesting region to watch if this happens, because Butler hasn't been in the tournament for a long time, and they're in the Big East. So we'll really see what type of competition they'll have in the tournaments. And I see them making the Sweet 16. And how about this? I have USC upsetting Illinois, and I also have them upsetting Jay Wright's Villanova squad. I think Villanova, since they lost to Wisconsin a few years ago in the tournament, they also lost to Purdue last year. Their only year they won it all was Michigan. They two out of the last three seasons actually, they've lost to Big Ten teams in the tournament. So I think they're really prone to get upset again. I think USC is gonna have it all this year, and we'll really have to see, not win it all, but at least make a run at it. And Kansas, I think, will beat Norfolk State and St. Francis, Pennsylvania, with the winner of that one. Houston will beat Xavier. Xavier's pretty consistent right now, so that should be a good 8-9 matchup. Colorado, I think, will beat East Tennessee State, even though East Tennessee State's definitely a lot of people's trending Cinderella pick. I don't see it happening, so I'm not taking that risk as of right now. Auburn without Bryce Harper will beat Vermont, and I also have them beating Colorado. And I think Colorado could be Sweet 16 potential, but Auburn with Bruce Pearl's squad, I think they're going to be back at it this year, and they're going to at least make it up to the Sweet 16, but then Kansas will eventually eliminate them. We'll get back to that in a little bit. Michigan State Spartans will beat Northern Iowa. Northern Iowa's been out of it. They kind of been on a losing streak recently. I forgot who they lost to the other day, but that was a big upset. It would be a team who's not even going to make the NCAA tournament. So I think they're going to lose there. And they're in Gonzaga's conference, so fairly tough competition there. And Creighton will beat UC Irvine, even though UC Irvine's been close with teams before. I don't see them beating a really tough Creighton spot. Frank McDermott's team they're just all over it. Watching them against Marquette, they really have quite a bit going on. And if they really make a run in the tournament, their fans are gonna be very excited. So I see them doing that. And Arizona, I think, will beat Virginia. And Arizona's playing some of their best basketball right now. They had a big win, their Pac-12 rivalry the other night, and I think they're gonna be tournament ready for one of these years. And Maryland will beat Montana, and then Maryland, the top team in the Big Ten right now, will also advance to the Sweet 16, and they will also beat Michigan State, which is a very tough Cassius Winston matchup. I think the top seed will finally pull it out this year. And after losing to Tremont Waters on the buzzer beater last year, Maryland will head to the Elite Eight. So up in this bracket, we have San Diego State in the East region playing Radford. San Diego State will beat them. And Texas Tech, after a national championship loss last year, I think will beat Indiana. Indiana's been on a rough losing streak lately, and they're kind of on the bubble for making or not making the tournament right now. So I think it's gonna be that type of game where Texas Tech's just gonna have the premier level. But then San Diego State will eliminate them in the Sweet 16 because they may have lost the other night, but I think they're very much tournament ready with all their wins, and they're literally playing for their wins too. I think looking at their resume too, they truly have enough competition where they can compete with other teams in the NCAA tournament as well. And West Virginia, I think, will beat Liberty, which is also an upset trend. I mean, last year there were no upsets, so this year I just don't know right now, and I'm kind of just going real at it in some of these projections. So. And then Ohio State will beat Arkansas. Arkansas will be a tough 11th, but Ohio State with the Wesson brothers are going to I think there's going to be a tough team, but they will not beat Duke in the Sweet 16. I tell you what, Duke's just fundamentally strong for the tournament. And Marquette with Marcus Howard will at least win one game at Dayton, but then they'll get eliminated because Obi Topping is one of the best players in the nation, and I think him and Marcus Howard will be a very fun weekend matchup, but I don't think Marquette will have enough, unfortunately, to go to the Sweet 16. So their run with Howard will end against Dayton in the third round. That brings a matchup with Obi Topping against Mike Krzyzewski's Duke Blue Devils. But I think Duke's just gonna win. I think they truly have the size. They truly have advantages this year after losing to Michigan State. They're truly gonna be tournament contenders like they have for years, and they will move on to the Elite Eight to kind of upset Dayton, but kind of not too. They're a smaller tier school that they're in the tournament. And Gonzaga will beat Siena, which I think will be the winner of that Prairie View A&M game, the winner of that one. And Utah State will beat Arizona State in a very tough one. And I also have Gonzaga losing. I mean, Gonzaga lost to Michigan during Thanksgiving weekend, and I think Utah State will really have the edge there, and I think they're gonna make the Elite Eight out of it. And then Stephen F. Austin against my Wolverines. If my Wolverines make the tournament, I'm very happy if we're a 4 or 5 seed, but I don't see us beating Stephen F. Austin because they truly had so much athleticism when they beat Duke. When I was watching those highlights on YouTube, I was just amazed by that, and I think they're gonna beat Michigan if they had to play them, just because Michigan, it's kind of falling off their highs and losing to Oregon, losing to Ohio State, losing some big conference games. Big one against the Badgers, by the way, on Thursday for Michigan. So very excited to watch that one as a fan. And Oregon, I think, will beat New Mexico State, even though New Mexico State, I think, could upset them. I don't think it's going to happen. It might be good till a little bit of the second half because Payne Pritchard and Oregon are starting to win a little bit again. But then I have Stephen F. Austin making a run at it to the Sweet 16. Then Utah State will eventually eliminate their Cinderella run. That will come to an end. Now BYU beating Stanford. Miles Powell and Seton Hall will beat Hofstra. And I think he's just truly a stud. But then I have Florida Gators. They are actually rematching with Wisconsin for the first time since the New York year happened, where Chris Chiozza hit the buzzer beater to eliminate the Badgers that March. That was devastating to watch that ending. But I think Florida's just gonna be too dangerous for Wisconsin to stop again. I think they'll also beat Florida State just because when they have a tournament run in them, I think they'll be very close. They lost to South Carolina that year when they beat Wisconsin, and when they made the Final Four, they lost to Connecticut. So this is truly their year to go to the Final Four, and they will obviously beat Utah State because their run has to end sometime. And Duke will definitely end Florida's run pretty obviously there, and Duke will make their first national championship since 2015. LSU will beat Butler because Butler's run will eventually become an end sometime, and LSU will take that away. And then Kansas, I think, will win it all with Bill Self-Squat Uzabalki. He's just a stud. Watching that Kansas Baylor game last night, I tell you what, he is a true baller. He can dunk on you. He can really play defense he can really go at you in several different ways, and I have them beating Duke in a very tough national championship game, and it could go to overtime. These two teams are probably the most deserving right now in this tournament. So that's our CBS one. And now we are at ESPN. This is kind of more ideal, and I think Arizona State will beat the Badgers because the Badgers, they did beat Rutgers yesterday, and they have had good wins recently, but not pretty enough to win in the tournament. So we'll take Arizona State there. Michigan State will beat the winner of NC State and Oklahoma, and I don't think either of those teams will move on to play in the NCAA tournament. In Kentucky, with John Calipari's squad, are also going to beat Michigan State because Michigan State fell off the horizon quite a bit. Lost to Michigan. They lost to Illinois. They lost to Illinois when Illinois came back on them pretty good. They did in college football and college basketball, so I just don't think they're going to have much in the tournament this year. I know in some projections that I've had them going up to the Elite Eight, including the CBS one, but I do not feel good at all about them playing the Wildcats of Kentucky, and they're gonna move on to Elite Eight, then a Sweet 16 to play Baylor before they're eliminated. Arizona, I think, will beat Jay White's squad in Villanova. I just think one of these years they're gonna really shine in the tournament. This is their year. They'll make the one shiny moment definitely. And Virginia will beat Texas Tech in a great national championship rematch. I don't think Texas Tech will have enough because Tony Bennett's squad, they'll just be ready enough with Diakite to really win at least one or two big games in the tournament, and they'll stay alive there by beating their national championship foes. And Maryland will beat Little Rock, Arkansas, and then Maryland will also advance to Elite Eight because they truly are contenders, and they're showing the world why they're the top team in the Big Ten. And Baylor will eventually end that run. So. And I have the Kansas Jayhawks beating the winner of NC State, A&T, and St. Francis Wesleyan, which I don't really care who wins that one. That's a small school one or whatever. Illinois will lose to Rhode Island. They fell off the track recently other than beating Michigan State, and I don't think they're tournament ready yet. So Rhode Island should have beat Oregon that one year when Oregon beat Michigan, but we will take them as a 9th seed to move on to play Kansas before they're eliminated. Colorado will go to the Sweet 16, and I have them not going to the Sweet 16 the last time, but I wanted to make it fun, and they're going to go to the Sweet 16. They will beat the Tigers of Auburn, the reigning Final Four representatives of last year, and I think they're going to advance to the Sweet 16 because they truly are one of the best shooting teams in the country, and they have a reason to go, and so will BYU. The BYU Cougars will advance too. In Louisville, after a couple other than the win against North Carolina, they fell off their horizon recently in there. And I know I had them winning it all either last week or the 2 weeks. Don't at me if I'm wrong, but I had them as a 4 seed winning the whole thing, but I don't see it happening anymore. So BYU will take it, but then Ovi Topping and Dayton will be in the Elite Eight because he's one of the best players in the nation, and they're far deserving, very well deserving of making that type of run. Dayton probably hasn't made an NCAA tournament run since I was in high school, and they're truly contenders, and they're deserving, and their run will have to end sometime, and they'll end against Kansas and Baylor. Baylor will make the national championship out of it, so we'll talk about their representative later on who they'll play. San Diego State, I have Providence just because I've had them a lot of years where they could have went to the Sweet 16, could have beaten North Carolina one year, but I see them beating West Virginia because Bob Huggins hasn't been in a while. Their tournament premier level isn't quite there yet, and I think they're going to get upset by either the winner of USC Providence, but I had to pick a winner. So I think Providence, with beating Marquette pretty bad yesterday and taking advantage of their rough defense, they'll get that one done. And San Diego State will also move on to the Elite Eight, but Miles Powell and Seton Hall, I have them going to the Final Four. And Marquette, I just truly believe in Seton Hall. I believe in the Big East in general. And they will play Creighton, but let's go through this first. I had LSU in the Final Four in this one, but I gotta be truly real and go with Gonzaga. And I truly think my Michigan Wolverines will go to the Elite Eight because they have proved that they've beaten Rutgers. They beat Michigan State at home. They've had some true wins, even with losing to Ohio State, losing to Oregon. They've really bounced back, and they're truly gonna be tournament contenders. I'm glad they're a virtual lock compared to being in the bubble earlier in January or February after being a number 1 overall seed way early after defeating Gonzaga. So they're going to be a really tough 5 seed if the season ended today. And I truly think they would beat Peyton Pritchard and Oregon in a very good rematch of the December matchup when Michigan did play them. So they will be in the Elite Eight, but eventually it'll have to attend against Frank McDermott's Creighton squad. And just a little rundown on who I have in the tournament. I was about to pick Utah State in the Sweet 16, but Creighton, like I said, I'm a true believer in the Big East, and I think the Big East versus Big East will battle in the Final Four if it was today. And Florida State, I kind of been high on the last few weeks, so I kind of wanted to pick them to lose eventually to change it up. So here is the Final Four for both of them to do a comparison game for you guys. I do not have Baylor in the CBS one, but I do in the other one. And Kansas is in both Final Fours, but maybe sometime they'll get eliminated. When Baylor and Kansas play each other in the Final Four, if they do compared to the 1 versus 3 matchup, it'll be just as good, folks. It really will be. So there's a comparison of both the Final Fours. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and see you all next time on Friday for my next projection, because that's when the CBS Sports projection comes up. And with it being this close this time of year, it's every Monday and Friday where it comes out. So very excited for that. Very excited to keep sharing with you guys. And NCAA in 09, once I find that game in my closet, be on the look for the entire 68 field of the NCAA tournament to be projected. I'm going to be doing it for fun, simulating all the games up to the national championship game, seeing how many upsets there are in the fantasy world, and then maybe if it is in the real world, I'll just have to compare them and take a screenshot after I send the video to you guys. So I have NCAA Basketball 09, one of my favorite games of all time for the PS3. So once I find that during the projection video, I will be doing a special edition one for you guys this weekend. So have a great day. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, and see you all next time at MI Sports Talk YouTube channel.